Bueller, Hulk, how you doing, brother? This thing is indeed on, and I am right on time. Possibly 15 seconds late. No pumping up, brother. Nah, it's not on yet. Young Gangster or Youngster Kang, he was just joking. Welcome, guys. I have had a crazy long week already. Just started a new gig, and yeah, it's intense. So happy to be here hanging out with you guys for a little bit. I want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of your day hanging out with me. James, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. So we'll get started in a couple of moments. I am going to do something that I normally don't do, and that is bash someone. I am going to talk some trash about someone today, something I normally don't do, but this company deserves it. And I want to do it more honestly as a public service than anything else, because the company that I've been dealing with is they have some great stuff, but just awful customer service. And I want you guys to be aware of like what's going on. RB3, no, brother, it is unfortunately nothing big. I have not purchased anything in quite some time. So, but it's just a couple of things that I'll show you guys. HME, how you doing? James is saying, ooh, drama. Yeah, so we're gonna do a little something today. So I definitely appreciate you guys joining me. Sat in traffic for quite some time today, and I am happy to be home. I was able to spend about, I don't know, 35 minutes with my kids, so that was nice. All right, so I named this video Unboxing Months in the Making for a reason, because it has literally taken me 6 months to put my hands on this book. Actually, it's probably a little over 6 months. From the time that I ordered this thing to the time it arrived today has been about 6 months of time. So let me say hello. So Key Comic Book Hunter, welcome to the chat, brothers. Good to see you. Derek, I'm glad you were able to pick up the mounts. I'm hoping that they work out for you, man. I definitely love them and still need to order some for my front wall here. Definitely love them. JD, how you doing? And then Old Man Comics Guy, welcome to the chat. So I called this chat Months in the Making because it has literally taken me 6 months to lay my hands on this box right here. The company that I was ordering when I first came back into comics months and months ago, the company I was ordering from, I was doing a lot of pre-orders, and I was doing pre-orders because they had some really great selections on some exclusive variants. They were also doing the, guaranteed CGC 9.8, right? So the book goes out, they do all the back behind the scenes stuff, and what you get is basically a book at 9.8 without any guesswork, without you having to submit anything, and oftentimes it was also at a discount. So that's something that I kind of liked. Again, this was months and months ago before I'd even submitted my first book to CGC. So I ordered from this company, and what happened was it was a pre-order, so it took some time for the book to actually be published. And then once the book was published, they had to receive the book, then they had to evaluate the book, bundle it up, send it to CGC. CGC had to do its thing and then send it back, of course. And so you're kind of in limbo, right? Where the book hasn't come out yet. You don't quite know where it is because they're not doing any kind of updates. And then they finally, I finally reached out to them and said, hey, what's going on with this book? And a couple of days went by before they responded. And they finally responded and said, hey, the books were damaged or lost or something like that. So we had to get all new books back in and then send them off to CGC. Cool, no problem. I'm happy to wait. Thank you for updating me. So then I end up, waiting a little bit more. And then I realized that we were going to move into this new house. And I sent them a message and said, hey, you have a couple of my books out there that you're doing some stuff with. I want you to be aware that I am actually moving. And I sent them a message on Facebook first. And they didn't respond, so I sent an email to the address like help at right? Their company. That's supposed to be the address you email if you need help, hence the name help, right? And some time goes by, no response. And then while this happened, one of the books happened to be sent to me, and it got caught up in the redirect from USPS, right? So they knew where I had moved and they redirected it to the correct address. I was like, cool, that worked out quite nicely. The book was in limbo for maybe 4 days or something like that. So I emailed again and said, hey, you guys have another book that's going to come my way. Please change the address in the system so that it comes directly to me and we don't have to worry about this redirect stuff. So no response from these guys for, several weeks. And then what ends up happening is they end up sending the book to the wrong address. On August 27th, they sent it to the wrong address. And then the book got sent back to them. They still didn't reach out to me. I emailed them again and say, hey, this book is in limbo. Can you tell me what's up? Oh, they finally responded after 2 days. The book was sent back to us. We'll send it back out to you. I just received the book today. So this original process, I ordered the book on April 2nd, notified them in June that I was moving, moved in July. The first book arrived in August. And then this last book arrived on September 12th. So it's been from April that we've been dealing with this. And honestly, I don't even want the book anymore because it's been that long. And it is just one of those things that you finally get it and you're kind of like, I don't even want it because now the experience has been ruined, right? And for me, you guys know it's easy. And then they send peanuts. It's easy to spend money. And really what I like is a good experience, a good story to tell, not a story around how I was given the runaround and had poor customer service from a company. And here's the thing is JD saying, would have asked for my money back. The thing is, dude, is I thought about that. And then I thought, how long is it going to take me for me to get a refund if I ask for my money back, right? I mean, it's just, there was no winning with this company. I just didn't think that there was a good way out with this one, And the page is not full of, but there are people that tell these stories about how bad the service is and how long they had to wait. And in your head, you're like, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad because that sounds like a horror story. Like, it can't be that bad. Lo and behold, these guys on this page are telling the truth. So here's the book, and it's again, I don't even want the book now. I mean, this book was ordered long before the book was published, long before we kind of knew what the book was actually going to be. But it is Amazing Spider-Man $7.98. And brand new, right? So it's a 9.8. It's also white pages. No surprise there. But again, it's just, at this point, I don't even want the thing. But we have it, and it'll go in a box somewhere. So yeah, it is a great cover. It's a great cover, and I think that it's also a great story arc. I enjoyed the Red Goblin story arc. I really did, from start to finish. I enjoyed the whole thing, and I thought this was a really cool cover, that I wanted to get slabbed. So I think I have a stack of these over there that I was going to send into CGC, and I potentially won't send them in now. So the name of the company, I think RB3 guessed that it was Comic Exposure. The name of the company is actually Amorphous Inc. Comics. This is the name of the company. And if you find them on Facebook, they actually have a pretty decent page there. They also have a website that you can go to where if you key in the password, then you get access to like some exclusives, right? Like I got my Weapon H #1 9.8 from them, and I've gotten a couple of other books from them, but it's been kind of problematic. No, it wasn't even the Virgin. Exactly. It wasn't even the Virgin cover. It was a regular cover, I actually couldn't get the Virgin because it was actually sold out by the time I actually placed my order. So I kind of got that one as a consolation. Didn't really want it then. Certainly don't want it now 6 months later after the fact, but it is what it is. You guys saw the name of the company. It's unfortunate because, again, I think that they have some great deals on their site, and the prices aren't crazy like some others that I've gone to. And JD is saying he's been waiting since March on something. Comic Crypto Stock, welcome brother, is saying that they are notorious for late shipping. Absolutely. If you go to their Facebook page, you see people writing these horror stories, and when I read them before I placed some of my orders, I thought that they couldn't be true because they were so outlandish, right? Like, who takes 6 months to send a book? That's who. So it is what it is. I just want you guys to be aware. Like, some of you have already ordered from them. If you order from them, it's all good, you know, but it's like, at least go into the situation eyes wide open that it could take some time for you to get your book. Into Comic Crypto Stock's point here, if you order some raw books, there's a chance that they could come in damaged. Thankfully, that hasn't happened, because I actually did get a couple of raw books from them that came in undamaged, which was, you know, I was thankful for, considering how much tape, eBay tape, that they put on their boxes when they send out. So the guy is located right here in California, man. And at one point, I think he was evacuated because of some fires where he lives. But he's right here in California, and so am I, right? I'm like right here. There's really, I mean, yeah, you have to send your stuff to CGC in Florida, but still, like, there's no excuse for a lack of communication, right? If you know you have a bad reputation, then you should go out of your way to offset that. And especially if you set up a line that says like help, right? If it's called help, the only way to help is to respond and to give people the information that they need. No, I'm not sure what you mean by Jupiter. Not Jupiter, Florida. No, there's a Jupiter, Florida. I wasn't sure if that was what you were referring to. So JD says that he's waiting on the Virgin Thanos Venomize. Yeah, brother. It's brutal. The wait time is brutal, and it's, I don't know. I definitely won't be ordering anything else from them ever again. I do believe that that's the very last book that I have from them, so I won't be doing business with them again. And it's unfortunate. Again, it's unfortunate because I think they have some great inventory. So I think I know what this next one is. Gemini shipper sent over to me. Communication is key. Like, here's the thing, when I reached out to them and said, hey, like, what's going on with this book? And they were like, well, check it out. It was, some things were damaged, so we had to get a new shipment and we have to send them out to CGC all over again. Like, I completely understood that, and I was fine with it. Fine, completely fine. I get that stuff happens, but no response, no information, lack of transparency, that's where I really struggle, you know? And my thing is, I don't even remember what I paid for the book, but even if I paid a couple of bucks for it, it's like, tell me something. So I think I know what this book is. I think, we'll see. It actually feels like more than one book, so we'll see what this is for certain. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Too much tape. The owner hired help, but it still takes forever. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, the thing is, man, if you, I don't know, so much of life is just about communication and responsiveness, that it's like people are willing to overlook a lot if you just tell them what the deal is, right? If you just say, look, I mean, for me, my whole thing is, even if you just say, I messed up, I'm sorry, that goes a long way with me. Just acknowledge it. But to not even acknowledge any of it, you know, it's incredible. Oh, cool. All right, so in a previous video, I actually showed, and I can't remember which one, I've probably done a couple on this thing. I've showed this cover right here, this Jim Lee Wildcats #2, right? This is some some 90s stuff with this psychedelic funky foil cover, right? This thing is gorgeous. I really do think it's gorgeous. And at one point I became aware that there was another version of this cover, right? This is a cover. I have two of these. I had one of these that I originally bought off the rack, and I bought one in a collection after that. But I've had this for a while, and I became aware that there was another version of this cover that I did not know about. And it was actually a, instead of a foil cover, there was a newsstand version that was a white cover. And I actually got online and I saw it, and I knew that it existed. I knew that it was real, but I could not find one. So I did a video and said, jokingly kind of said, hey, if you have this cover, let me know. One of you watched that video and sent me a message and said, I have it. In fact, the guy actually posted it on Instagram and said, Reggie, is this the cover you're looking for? And I think he had like 4 of them. And I was like, that is it. Can we talk? So he ended up hooking me up. He sold me this book he really just gave me the book, to be honest with you. I don't think this book is really worth anything, but he basically gave me the book at cost. So now I actually have both versions of this thing. I have this 90s foil goodness and this newsstand white cover, and they are basically the same, but it's really cool to have this book now, you know? So I'm super pumped about that. This YouTube channel, I'm telling you, is absolutely good for something, because I appreciate having that cover, because it is a very cool book. And I'm hopeful that in December I will have an opportunity to shoot down to Vegas, hook up with my man RB3, and also potentially get some signatures from my man Jim Lee. I don't know if I'll get that book signed, but it'll be cool to meet Jim and get some signatures on some of my books, because I do have a lot of his books. You know, those 90s X-Men I don't think are worth a whole lot, but that book, that series was very important to me back in the 90s, and so it'll be cool to meet him and to get his signature. So my man hooked me up with that. He also sent me a couple of other books. This was unexpected. This is a Dan Slott, Renew Your Vows, Amazing Spider-Man #1. That is very cool. Another awesome white cover there. So I think that's really cool. I don't know that I've actually read this book, to be honest with you. So that's very cool. And then he also sent a Valiant #1, Harbinger #1. This is also a book that I have not read, but I spent some time talking about recently some Image books, some Valiant books. So that's probably why I received this one. And then everybody knows I'm an Amazing Spider-Man guy, so that's probably the reason for that one as well. So let me get caught up here real quick. Like Angel Flights of the 70s. Yeah. Yeah, JD, cool. Send me that, dude. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate it. MIB Master Toy Story is saying that Jim Lee is one of his favorite artists. Dude, honestly, mine as well. I am a huge fan of Jim Lee. I recently took some time and I literally sat for like 2 days and watched every Jim Lee like interview that I could find. Just because I wanted to like hear him like talk about his experiences in the industry, his experiences as an artist. So it was cool to actually see him be interviewed and actually talk about some of his experiences. That was cool. And then I've also been watching his sketch videos. He does some YouTube stuff and I think Twitch and a couple of other things where he actually sits and sketches and kind of talks while he's sketching and does tutorials on how to draw a hat or how to draw a face or the proper way to draw a hand and all that kind of stuff. So it's just really cool to hear him talk. And it's amazing that he can draw and talk at the same time, you know, but I feel like Jim Lee is a pretty cool guy. He's also an amazing artist that I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting at some point in the future. So definitely cool with that. Yeah, RB3, not gonna happen, my man. RB3 sent me, he posted here that he sent me the ASM 300 by mistake and he wants me to send it back. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's a triple signed ASM 300, brother. I will send you the purple label in my box over there for a small fee. No, it won't. No, it won't. This is not about picking stuff off my wall that you guys want, JD. Or RB3. That is not the game. So yeah, MIB Master Toy. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to actually meet him in December, because that would be pretty cool. Welcome to the chat, Miss Hustle. It is always good to see you. He's asking, do I have the triple gatefold X-Men #1? I do. I actually have a couple of those. I actually have a couple of those X-Men #1. So again, when I think about it, those might be some of the ones that I get signed. And then I also have, I want to say, at least one newsstand version of one of those early X-Men. I like to get, I don't think the #1, I don't think there is a newsstand version of #1. I could be wrong about that, but I've seen newsstand versions of some of the others that I'd like to get, because that would be kind of cool. So a signature and a newsstand high grade would be like a really nice way to line it up. So yeah, Vegas is the place to be, man. Torpedo Comics is like amazing. So Hard Corpse #1 is an amazing Jim Lee cover. He different Valiant. It's got a gatefold cover. You can't go wrong with the gatefold cover. Come on, you can't go wrong with any of that. Oh, Miss Hustle doesn't like my wall back there. All right, so we'll do a quick recap and then we will get ourselves out of here. I'm thinking, because if you haven't seen it, I've been doing my top 50 comics in my collection. I've done 3 installments so far. I've done one on my favorite, or my top 10 childhood books. I've done my top 10 Amazing Spider-Man books, and I think there were some shockers in there for some people, because there's some stuff on that wall that was not in that list. I did my top 8 Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko covers. And I'm hoping to get to other parts of that top 50 in the next couple of days. And I may actually do 1 or 2 of those live. So stay tuned for those videos and also those live shows. If you haven't seen those 3 videos that I just mentioned, you may want to check those out. And then at some point, I'm actually going to stop being lazy and find some time to actually order some more books, because there's other things that I want to get from my collection that I just haven't gotten around to actually doing. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. So we'll update you guys one more time. I had a very negative experience with a company that does pre-orders of exclusive comics. It took me literally 6 months to get my hands on a book because of, honestly, poor communication, poor planning, whatever you want to call it. Some of which can be explained away, some of which there is no excuse for. So I normally don't do this kind of stuff, but I'm really doing it to say, if you order from this company, be aware, right? That people have negative experiences with this company. And I think that's important for us to kind of not just always talk about the good, but to also shed light on those situations that don't quite go the way that they should, so that we do have some transparency in this stuff. So that is the name of the company, so that you guys are at least aware what's going on with them. This was the book, not even a special book. It is Amazing Spider-Man 798. Came back as a 9.8, which is really cool, but it took me 6 months to get it. I actually have several of these 798s back there that are probably 9.8 candidates that I probably could have sent off myself and gotten them CGC'd and had them returned to me already in less than 6 months, to be honest with you. So a couple of other really cool books that arrived today is this really cool white cover newsstand version of Wildcats #2. This is the foil cover. This is the direct edition. This is the one that I picked up today thanks to a cool friend who is a YouTuber. I'm sorry, no, he's an Instagrammer who watches my YouTube. Hooked me up with this book. Super pumped about that, because I've only heard rumors about this book. I've never actually seen it in person, so definitely cool to have that in the collection now. And then he also hooked me up with a couple of other books. Amazing Spider-Man #1, Renew Your Vows, and then of course a Harbinger #1. So also 2 unexpected gifts, so shout out to him for hooking me up with those. All right, so let me get caught up real quick. He says, bye-bye sponsorship. Brother, if they were sponsoring me, they would have hooked me up a long time ago. Yes, MIB. It took 6 months. And no, Dan, that book is not going on the wall. That is not a wall-worthy book. Trust me. I got enough flack when I took down an actual cool book from that wall. I think I took down a 798, the Lucilo Perillo Green Goblin. People gave me some grief for pulling that one down. But yeah, so there's no sponsorship, there's no endorsement, there's none of that stuff. It is honestly a public service announcement for you guys so that you guys are aware if you do business with them. You know, I mean, they even had this really cool, remember this Hobgoblin? I think it was the Red Goblin, Hobgoblin tearing Spider-Man's uniform. That was a cool cover that I wanted, that by the time I had all these negative experiences, I wouldn't even order from them and didn't get that book as a result. So anyway, yeah, pick up the 90s Harbinger trade back to read. Gotta get some Wrightson. Is that a writer? Some Wrightson up on that wall? I hope you're not talking about a DC book. What issue is that Incredible Hulk on your wall? Do you mean the one over here? No, wait a minute, Incredible Hulk. Yeah, there's only one. That's 181. 181's back there, up there on the wall. Bernie Wrightson. Yeah, that is Incredible Hulk number 181 back there. I think that's the only Hulk back there. I had Incredible Hulk 340, that classic cover with Wolverine and Incredible Hulk on the cover where you could see his reflection in the claws. I love that book, but I had to pull it down when I got, it was the Iron Man 55 that came back as a 9.4 that we pulled down that book. And then, yeah, the Hulk up there is actually an 8.5. I have a 5.0 in a signature series signed in a box, but we have the 8.5 up on the wall. So definitely some cool stuff up there. I'm not a big fan of Swamp Thing. Not a big fan of the Swamp Thing. And that House of Secrets book is a really cool cover. That is a cool cover. But I don't know. I'm not a Hulk. I'm not a Swamp Thing kind of person, right? So that's not one of the books that I really covet. I am more of a superhero, mutant, Spider-Man, Wolverine kind of guy, and that's what you see reflected back on this wall, you know? Because in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that you can't collect everything, you know? And so I have somewhat of a narrow focus, right? I have a desire at some point to do some Golden Age stuff, so I'll get there. But for right now, it is really about mutants and Spider-Man and those important keys. And at some point we may diversify and start doing some other things, you know? RB3 is telling me some Jim Lee original art. Maybe one day when I grow up, buddy, maybe one day when I grow up, I'll actually get some of that original art. And as you guys know, I don't do any DC except for DC books that are given to me by other people. That is the only way. So Dan Bull, thank you for the comments about my beautiful 798 9.8 that'll go on a box now. So anyway, yeah, I know somebody that has some of that original art as well from Jim Lee. Again, maybe when I grow up, I'll actually get some of that. So I want to thank you guys for spending a small part of your day with me. I genuinely enjoy these conversations because it gives us an opportunity to kind of interact and have a little bit of fun live. So I want to say thank you for that. If you haven't seen some of the videos that I put up recently, I would encourage you to go check those things out. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I want to thank you for any thumbs up that you may leave behind on this video. My hope is to have some additional content coming out very soon for you guys. Hopefully, I'll be going live a couple of times this weekend. At least that is my hope. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Take care.